What it means to you as a lender or you as a borrower or both is that the opportunities are going to be massive. Opportunities to choose who to borrow from, opportunities as a borrower to get the best interest rate that you can possibly get. But as a lender, as a person seeking a job, as a person making a career out of housing finance, the opportunity is going to explode. Housing, like roti and kapda, is an essential, and it will only keep increasing. The tier 2, tier 3 cities of this country will see a larger growth because of the availability of land and the pricing. Housing finance companies and banks will look to people for jobs, will look to people who know something about housing finance. You, as already working in the housing finance, need to polish your skills and to get your fundamentals right so that you increase your growth in the organization, in the industry, and more importantly, come across as a person who knows, who is certified, and is therefore eligible to take on additional responsibilities. The modules that we are offering you in housing finance cover different aspects. Our next set of modules will cover the policies, the various policies, the risk appetites, the credit policies, the legal policies, the technical policies. That's another module that we have. The processes and the various products that are available in the industry. At one level, we could think that housing finance can be a very boring process, but there are some very interesting boutique products that are available from various lending institutions which are adapted to suit your requirements. The processes in housing finance is also important because they are changing. Technology, and we have a full module on technology in the future of housing finance module that we have, will actually tell you how processes have evolved to what they are today, and that this is only a pause. They are keeping on evolving even as we talk. And then we have a specific set of modules which talks about something that has evolved in the recent years. One, green housing, environmental friendly housing. The second, affordable housing. We will talk a little more about affordable housing here. That affordable housing has been around for years, but now it has got a shape, a size, a nomenclature and a structure. The government of India is supporting this, and the state governments, of course, are supporting this through various fiscal and legal enabling environments. The government's Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, which is linked to the credit linked subsidy scheme, where people under a certain income qualify to get a certain subsidy from the government, has really helped a lot of people who earlier were not eligible for loans, not able to buy their own houses, to actualize that dream of theirs. Another aspect of housing finance which is increasingly getting importance is securitization. As the demand for housing grows, the lending institutions have a larger demand for funding because they need the money to be able to give new loans. Securitization, otherwise called where a lending institution which has got a large book actually sells or passes on its book to another institution which has liquidity and wishes to build its book. We have a full module on securitization for you in this particular course that we are developing. Another aspect that is extremely important is the mathematics that goes into housing finance, are the various concepts that go into housing finance. And one of our modules actually addresses each one of the mathematics and the concepts that goes into housing finance. And you will find that extremely interesting because you are dealing with it all the time, whether as a lender or as a borrower. With the expansion of housing finance in the country and multiple players, housing finance companies, NBFCs, banks, there was obviously a need for regulation. Housing finance gets regulated through the regulator, which is the National Housing Bank, and now increasingly so, the Reserve Bank of India. There are certain laws that also work. They are state laws. For example, RERA, the Real Estate Regulation Act. That's a state law. We have a full section on law for you, laws relating to housing finance. Having said that, our entire modules on credit information, which is another course by itself, closely interlinked with what we are doing in the housing finance modules. Take a look at the introductory module that we have for credit information, because you as a lender, and equally importantly, you as a borrower, are going to be massively impacted, and you will be using credit information, credit reports, credit scores in your day-to-day work as a lender, and impacts you as a borrower because your credit report, your credit score actually influences the terms under which you get a loan or not get a loan. So friends, colleagues, fellow practitioners, I would strongly urge you, whether you are a potential employee or a worker in a bank or a housing finance company, whether you're already working for a bank, housing finance company, NBFC, you are in the financial sector, you are in the real estate sector, I would strongly urge that you look at these modules that we have on offer for you, which all cover these aspects of housing finance which I've talked about. Also, students passing out of MBA colleges, finishing chartered accountancy, and aspiring to enter the financial sector, and definitely aspiring to enter the housing finance or real estate finance sector. I would again strongly urge, take a look at the modules and you will find them not only interesting but also educative. The additional advantage that you will get is that we are offering a certification or an accreditation which will be available to you when you successfully finish the module and the test that we apply at the end of each module. And the biggest advantage, and something I personally believe, having been in the industry for so long, is that all these courses are being brought to you by people who are actually working or have worked in the industry. For example, I have done 40 years in housing finance and credit information industry. My fellow presenters, which you will be introduced to in their respective modules, are current practitioners. So you are getting real life experiences translated into a learning process. People who have been there, done that, and not purely academical lectures. I think that is a huge advantage because now people are talking from where they have actually been, and therefore bringing real life experience, real life examples, and real life knowledge to you, the future of housing finance in this country.